There are stars above you. You never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I need without you. If you should ever leave me, your life will still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you.
Please be seated. We are gathered here today with family and friends to celebrate and join in marriage Molly and Ryan. Marriage is a public pronouncement of one's love for another, so we have gathered up all those people that are most special and treasured in Molly's life and in Ryan's life, and brought them here to Ski Town, USA, to celebrate the moment when Molly and Ryan tell us, but more importantly, tell each other about how they feel about one another. That they have looked far and wide and decided that this is the person for me. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justin, and I will be your humble officiant this evening. I am here to help run this celebration of Molly and Ryan. As your humble servant, I feel duty-bound to tell you that I am not a professional. I will make this wedding interesting and most likely at my own expense. I am Molly's cousin, and I have known Ryan, and I have been a big fan of Ryan since the very first time I met him when he told me about his wise and intelligent decision to attend the University of Colorado. Molly and I, as cousins, have been friends since we were little kids. Shortly after Molly and Ryan got engaged, they asked me to officiate their wedding. I thought it's perhaps because I have a job that requires me to stand up in front of people and talk. But the kind of talking I do is not the kind of talking you want at your wedding. I'm a criminal prosecutor, and I figure a person that tells a judge and jury about how someone broke the law is not the person you want to tell your family and friends about the person you love. Nonetheless, they asked nicely, and I couldn't say no. In fact, this is not my first wedding. We have been riding the wedding roadshow since the Reagan administration, when we stole the show at our cousin Belinda's wedding. I was the ring bearer, and 3-year-old Molly was the flower girl. Unlike what you saw today, when we got to the end of the procession, Molly abruptly dropped her basket of flowers, started crying in the middle of the aisle. I tried to console her. I was told by the adults that it looked like I was trying, but it did not work. Ladies and gentlemen, if this wedding goes well, you are going to see the same thing happen today. Molly crying uncontrollably, and me humbly trying to stop her from crying. Marriage is perhaps the greatest and most challenging adventure in human relationships. Marriage is a bond to be entered into only after considerable thought and reflection. 2 years after Ryan survived an epic Stabler family inquisition during the 4th of July, Molly and Ryan are ready to take the next step, to make this commitment. But they don't undertake this journey alone. Molly and Ryan have had great role models in deciding to embark on this challenging adventure of marriage. Case in point, Ryan's parents, Carol and Bob, have been married for 41 years. It hasn't always been easy. In fact, during their 5th year of marriage, baby Ryan was diagnosed with a failure to thrive. He was too little, and he just wasn't growing. Carol and Bob took him to doctor after doctor, and they performed test after test. And in the end, he was diagnosed with a rare form of glycogen storage disease. This was very scary at the time, but Ryan, as you see, has survived. And he has thrived. Perhaps it was the grilled cheese sandwiches his Nana Voss fixed him every morning, noon, and night. But pretty soon, baby Rye was growing, and he became a chubby kid who loved to play baseball in front of the house with his good buddy, Phil the Thrill. Soon, the chubby kid got a nickname that would stick for the rest of his life, Big Rye. Big Rye wouldn't be the man he is today if not for the love and guidance of Carol and Bob. So on behalf of Molly and her family and friends, I want to thank you for sharing your wonderful son with us. Now, Molly was walked down the aisle today by her Uncle Randy and her mom, Char Marie. But her father, Ron, is never far from her thoughts. Char and Ron were married for 45 years before he passed in 2008. Ron was an engineer, a little more analytical than emotional. Not known for outwardly expressing his emotions, but he had a soft spot for Molly. In fact, this was immediately apparent right when Molly was born. While Char was still in the hospital with baby Molly, he went out to the store on his own and bought a huge pink piece of poster board. And on it he wrote, "Molly Christine has arrived." And he tacked it up on the utility pole on their street. Now, mind you, this is a man that never let Char put a political or public interest sign in their yard, but he put a big pink poster board in a fashion that the neighbors still talk about today. He was telling the world about his baby girl, and he was telling them because he had a special love for Molly. Now, Ron tried to make Molly into an engineer, teaching her about tools and working around the house, and Ron no doubt would have smiled when Molly and Ryan went on their first date. And Molly got excited about the fact that Ryan had a tire pressure gauge handy to address a flat tire. As important to Molly and Ryan are all of you, the family and friends that have traveled from far and near to share this special moment with them. Please take a minute to meet those special people around you and share the sign of peace. Today, Molly and Ryan demonstrate their devotion to each other by dedicating themselves to a life together. And they show their respect for each other by setting forth to honor the vows they have created for each other. Today, their lives, which began on separate paths, will be joined as one. George Eliot once wrote, "What greater thing is there for two human souls than to feel that they are joined for life, to strengthen each other in all labor, to rest on each other in all sorrow, to minister to each other in all pain, to be one with each other in silent, unspeakable memories." Today, Ryan and Molly become joined for life. Today, Ryan and Molly make that promise to each other with all of us as their witness. Today, they ask each other to accept each other for who they are, knowing that they aren't perfect, that they will make mistakes, knowing that they will get frustrated, that it won't always be easy, but knowing that they have each other and they are committed to one another and that they will make it through as a team. A good marriage must be built on a foundation of this commitment. In marriage, the little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say I love you at least once a day. It is never going to sleep angry. It is standing together and facing the world. It is speaking words of appreciating and demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is having the capacity to forgive and to forget. It is not only marrying the right partner, it is being the right partner. And Ryan is the right partner for Molly. It seems like Ryan knew it from the beginning, or at least the fifth date. And here's how I know that. I met Ryan on the 4th of July at my mom's house in Lander, Wyoming 2 years ago. I was living in California and flew out to Denver. Molly picked me up at the airport, and we drove 5.5 hours together up to Lander. During the drive, Molly told me that she had met someone and that he was coming to Lander. Wow. 4 dates, and he wanted to come to the 4th of July and meet the entire family. And better yet, 4 dates in, Molly made him drive separately. Yes, we drove 5.5 hours together, but because he couldn't get off work in time, we left him and he had to drive himself. This was clearly a make-or-break situation. If he couldn't make it to Wyoming on his own, then he wasn't going to make the cut. But he did make the cut, and they haven't looked back since. To help celebrate making the cut, Ryan selected his 2 favorite Emerald cousins, Caitlin and Andrew, and asked them to share a reading.
All right, this is a reading from the Book of Bradshaw, aka Sex and the City. His hello was the end of her endings. Her laugh was their first step down the aisle. His hand would be hers to hold forever. His forever was as simple as her smile. He said she was what was missing. She said instantly she knew. She was a question to be answered, and his answer was, I do.
How we doing? It's a reading from Fred Rogers, also known as Mr. Rogers. It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. But it's you I like. The way you are right now, the way down deep inside you, not the things that hide you. Not your toys, they're just beside you. But it's you I like, every part of you. Your skin, your eyes, your feelings, whether old or new. I hope that you'll remember, even when you're feeling blue, that it's you I like. It's you yourself, it's you I like.
Molly and Ryan met at the information superhighway, though only after Molly ran a background check on Ryan through their mutual friend Meredith. Although they both claim they don't remember what it was that attracted them to each other, it seems they were both looking for a little bit of Massachusetts in the mountains of Colorado. Ryan and Molly's digital lives intersected with the analog world for the first time at Pinche Tacos in Denver. Ryan was late. He got a flat tire on his way to go. A flat tire that conveniently allowed him to display that tire pressure gauge that perhaps inaccurately gave Molly the impression he was handy with tools. A few recent home improvement projects may have convinced Molly otherwise. On their second date, Molly and Ryan went mountain biking on North Table Mountain, a little outdoor adventure, and they were both hooked. Molly says Ryan was patient and kind, and Ryan was beginning to find out that Molly was everything he was looking for. Smart, adventurous, and more importantly, a little East Coast edge. To help us appreciate that East Coast edge, I would like to ask Molly's esteemed nieces and nephews, Alexandra, Samantha, Cody, and Travis, to come forward for a reading.
Cody and I have a poem called Falling in Love is Like Owning a Dog.
On cold winter nights, love is warm. It lies between you and lives and breathes and makes funny noises. Love can wake you up all hours of the night with its needs.
Love is not like being left alone for long, but come home and love is always happy to see you. Love may break a few things accidentally in his passion for life, but you can never be mad at love for long.
Love leaves you little surprises here and there. Love makes messes.
Love can give you a sense of security when you're walking down the street late at night and you have a leash on love. Ain't no one gonna mess with you.
Sometimes love just wants to play, running you around the block, leaving you panting. It pulls you in several different directions at once, or winds around and around until you're all wound up together. And love brings you together.
People who have nothing in common but love stop and talk and greet each other on the street. Most importantly, love needs love, and lots of it. And in return, love loves you and never stops.
Our earliest
earliest records of solar eclipses date back 5,000 years to ancient carvings on a megalithic monument in Ireland. For centuries, these unpredictable occurrences of midday darkness were a source of fear to most people, the manifestation of the rage of the gods or the goddesses. Over the centuries, astronomers came to recognize that this strange phenomenon was actually predictable and a natural occurrence. The moon drifts between the sun and the earth, casting a shadow across us. In the middle of the day, the disk of the sun is shielded, and the brilliant light of the solar corona is exposed. The most phenomenal aspect of solar eclipses is the diamond ring effect. As the last bits of sunlight pass through the valleys on the moon's limb, and the faint corona around the sun is just becoming visible, it looks like a ring with glittering diamonds on it. On August 21st, 2017, for the first time in 100 years, a solar eclipse crossed the entire continental US. But this eclipse did not have the most important diamond ring of the day. Later that day, Ryan proposed to Molly, and she said yes. In Italy, it is believed that flowers planted during the solar eclipse will grow brighter and more vibrant than those planted at any other time. So let's make a metaphor. On the day of such a breathtaking event, Molly and Ryan planted a seed. They decided to get married and commit themselves to a life together. Molly and Ryan told their families of their engagement, which was then received with warmth, happiness, and support. Just as a seed needs warmth and light to move closer to flowering, the germination of Molly and Ryan's seed began. Throughout the planning of their wedding, Molly and Ryan's seedling has been able to begin to sprout, pushing their tiny roots down to more permanently solidify the family they are about to create. In the days leading up to the wedding, their root system continued to develop, anchoring their love for one another to the ground. The stems grow longer towards the sun, and new leaves grow from the stem in the anticipation of their union with one another. Today, we all receive the great honor of witnessing Molly and Ryan's flower bud begin to sprout. As their flower grows brighter and more vibrant throughout their years together, so will their love for one another.
On Molly and Ryan's first date at the infamous Pinche Tacos in Denver, Molly's first memory of Ryan was that he sounded like home. Apparently, distance lends enchantment, and a little Boston twang stood out in the mountains of Colorado. In that spirit of talking to each other in that Boston twang, they have written their own vows. And now, with all of you as their witnesses, Molly and Ryan will exchange vows with one another.
Here we go. I, Ryan, from this day forward, choose you, Molly, to be my wife and forever best friend. Promise to live, adventure, and laugh together. To fill your heart and keep you warm. To always motivate and encourage you. To be patient, kind, and forgiving. To play. To play and travel with you whenever I can, even as we grow old. To always eat and make delicious food. I will always love you with all of my heart, in good times and in bad. When life is easy and hard, until the end of our forever.
I, Molly, promise to love and care for you, Ryan. To be honest with you always. To be your biggest fan. To tell you the best part of my day, and to listen to yours every day. To be your partner in all things. I commit to our lifelong adventure, wherever the may lead us. Whether on our feet, underwater, a bicycle or skis. I will always keep our secret to life heart, my hand, my soul, forever and always.
A successful marriage is not something that just happens. It takes work, it takes patience, and it takes time. It takes a commitment from both of you. A commitment to do whatever it takes to make your relationship thrive and not simply survive. The wearing of rings is a visible outward sign that you've committed yourself to one another and that you are committed to making the marriage work. These rings announce to the world that you have been found. They are a reminder and a celebration of the promises you have made today, and in exchanging these bands, you knit your two lives together as one. When you look at your wedding band, remember the great gift that you have been given, and all that you have in one another. Remember that you have someone to share this life with, and you will not have to alone. Molly and Ryan, in the presence of your family and friends who have joined with you to share this joyous moment in your lives, you have declared your love and commitment to each other. By the power vested in me by the great state of Colorado, I now pronounce that you are married. You may now kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present for the first time as husband and wife, Ryan and Molly Amerholt. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you leave, we